Hey, Ashton, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
You too.
I know you've been here now for a little while. Just what's it been like? You know, you've been to a couple different schools, so this isn't totally new to you, but what's it been like so far?
It's been amazing. Everyone was extremely welcoming, making the transition super easy for me. I mean, just being able to meet the guys, spend some time with them. We've been putting in a lot of really hard work, and just trying to get better every single day. Trying to build a brotherhood that is going to help us in the long run, and I think we're doing that so far, and we'll continue to do that. So it's been amazing so far.
All right, next will be Chris Nee, front row over here on your left.
Hey, Ashton. Obviously, when you committed, Gus Malzahn was set to be your OC. With his departure, do you feel like that changes anything for you individually and for the offense?
No, I don't think so. I'm very grateful, for Coach Malzahn for giving me the opportunity to be here. He's an extremely successful coach that I think now deserves some time to spend with his family, be a dad, and all the things that he wants to do. So I'm very grateful for him. But for this offense, we just keep moving. Obviously. Coach Norvell is going to do a great job, with the guys that we have on this offense. Coach Harris is going to do a great job, and I think we're off on the right foot. Just the way that they've come into meetings, offensive meetings, and approached, the mindset that we're going to have for this season and for this off season, is really promising for this offense.
All right, we'll stay over here for Brendan.
Following up on that, I know when you had gone on your visit that you and Coach Malzahn had gone over like a lot of film. Since the change, like have you gone over stuff with Coach Norvell about like his old offenses, things that he's done, things that he likes? Have you guys had time to kind of get into that yet?
Yeah, kind of introductory stuff. Obviously finding out what the guys in our offense do best. And kind of building an offense around that has been, a big thing for us, at least for this past week. Obviously, things are happening really fast, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. But I think going back and looking at some of my film is kind of what I've been doing, trying to pick things that I do really great, and also things that I need to work on, for this off season, and trying to build something around that.
All right, next will be Peter Holland, second row on your left.
Hey, Ashton. So do you feel like what do you feel like is your approach when coming here? Do you feel like you're coming in that you feel like you're confident to be the starter, or you feel like you're here to compete and earn the starting job?
Yeah, I mean, regardless, anywhere you go in college football nowadays, you're going to have to compete. Nothing is just handed to you. So I've always had that mindset everywhere that I've gone, high school, Auburn, Stanford, I've had to compete. And that's the mindset that I come in with here. I know that nothing's given to me. So, I'm going to go in there and we're going to compete, and we're going to, do our best to sharpen each other every single day. So no matter who goes out there on the field on Saturdays, we're going to be prepared to go.
You mentioned a few questions or answers ago, the things you do well, the things that you want to work on as well. Can you kind of dive into what you think historically you've done well and what needs to be worked on as well?
Yeah, I think getting the ball out quick, making sure that I get the ball into my playmakers' hands and kind of let them do what they do, and just facilitating an offense. I think being a leader out on the field and getting everyone going is one of my strong suits. And then just being able to be a playmaker, and make things happen when things break down, I think is also one of my strong suits. Obviously, in the past, have a history of, not really taking care of the ball as much as I need to. And I think, at least with this past year, I've seen a huge amount of development in that area. And that's something that I'm going to, continue to try to develop going into this next season.
We'll stay there for Chris again.
What has it been like getting to know Austin Tucker and getting a feel for how he's going to manage you guys in the quarterback room?
Yeah, it's been great. Obviously, him being kind of put into a new role, and then me coming in, we're both kind of getting a feel for everything. But at the same time, I think that he's the man for the job. I think that he's done a great job of bringing in the quarterback room and just gaining respect for him. We know that he's going to come in and give it his best for us every single day. And I think that that's a huge thing for us, is knowing that we have a leader that we can, trust and lean on when things get hard. But it's been phenomenal, just sitting down, watching some film with him, going over the small things, footwork, and all that good stuff, things that, really matter that people overlook, I think is a big thing for him. So, it's been great, getting to know him. I think it's been great for our quarterback room, kind of bonding and meshing. But I love the room, and I think we're going to have a great offseason.
We'll stay here and come back to Brendan.
When you mentioned taking care of the football better, in the last year, I went through, was watching, like, I think the 2 interceptions, one was a Hail Mary, one went off someone's hands. So what shifted for you think? I know it was a small sample size, but in that time, what did grow for you in that area?
Yeah, I think just being confident with, knowing my reads. I also think this past year, I one of the big focuses for me was film study and knowing where I'm going to go with the ball in certain situations, and also knowing when to protect the ball. Some plays in some situations you have to take that shot, and you have to give your receiver a chance. But sometimes you just got to tuck the ball. You got to take a sack. You got to take a check down. And I think I did a really good job of kind of realizing that this past season, and making sure that that was one of the areas that I worked on every single day. Every period of practice, making sure that I was smart with the football. Making sure I was keeping the ball high and tight, keeping 2 hands on the ball when I'm making pocket movements, and I think that really, kind of paid off this past season.
All right, next we'll go to Bob Ferrante on the right, front row.
Hey, good morning. You spent some time with Deuce Robinson and probably the other receivers on your visit. What were your impressions of meeting them and just this receiving core that you'll be able to work with?
Yeah, so I actually previously know Deuce. So his one of his best friends from high school I played with at Stanford, and he came out and visited him. So I got to build a relationship early on before anything even happened. So obviously being able to lean on that relationship, that friendship, has been a big thing for me. With my transition here, he's been a big help for me. He was also a big help for me in the recruiting process. So he's like that. That's an NFL guy right there. I look at him every single day. The work that he puts in. That's a guy that really wants it, and someone that I look up to. And I can say that for the rest of the wide receiver room, those guys just come in, they put in work every single day, and I'm excited to be able to share a field with them and get to throw them the ball.
All right, we'll go back to Ira, second row on your right.
Could you just kind of talk us through a little bit of your experience last year, going from being a starter previously to then not being a starter, but then getting an opportunity late in the season? Like, how did you handle all that? What did you learn from it?
Yeah, to be honest, it all came down to me understanding that it was God's plan for me. I knew that going there was for that year was the right decision for me, whether it be starting, sitting, and being able to develop some more, and being able to use my red shirt, which ended up happening. But I obviously it was hard at times. Kind of going from that starter position for almost 2 years to sitting on the bench. But I kind of realized in my mind, like, this is what's supposed to happen for me. Like, I think it's meant to be for me to get that extra year to develop, and then have another year to go in and do what I can. But I'm extremely grateful for that year. I'm extremely grateful, for that coaching staff for giving me the opportunity in those last 4 games. And I think I showcased a little bit of what I can do, but I think there's still a lot left more in the tank.
All right, we'll go back to Peter on your left.
Actually, how good it is to have Xavier to join you. What people should expect from him, knowing that he might protect your blind side.
Yeah, it's big. I think that was a big get for us in the portal. Obviously, having a close relationship, with him, I know that he's a guy that I want protecting my blind side. He's a phenomenal player. He puts in the work every single day. He's a freak. Like, he's huge. He puts in that work every single day. He's strong, quick feet. Like, that's somebody that I can trust, if my back's turned. So I think that was a big time get for us, and I'm excited to see what he does this season.
Anything else for Ashton? All right, we got a couple more. All right.
I I was going to ask you about Trey Wisner. What's he been like? We heard a lot of good things about him, but we haven't met him yet. What's he like, and what do you think he brings?
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, he's a dude that you want to have in your locker room. Somebody that's gonna encourage you when things get hard. Somebody that's gonna light up a room with laughter, with smiles. And I mean, he's a gamer. Like, he's been talking about nonstop. He just wants to get out on that field and show what he can do. And I think he's a phenomenal player. Going and watching some of his film, I think he brings a lot to this offense. I think he's going to be a really big part for us, and I'm excited to have him here.
All right, Matt.
Jesse Stone is a guy who also came from Auburn to be the assistant quarterbacks coach here. How good has that been for you to transition, having that familiar face in the building, and what's it been like working with him last year and now this year?
Yeah, I think that was really, really big for me. I think also, having him here, I kind of have someone to lean on, when we're both kind of trying to learn a new system, trying to learn the different ways of this offense and all that good stuff. But this past year working with him, I probably credit, him and then my past, quarterbacks coach, Coach Austin, who was there with him. I credit them with all of my development this past year. And I mean, it was two complete, opposite ends of the stick in the terms of my development. Like, I came there, a pretty good quarterback in my eyes. And I left there thinking, that I was elite, and I had all the confidence in the world in myself. They helped me with a lot of things on the field, mechanics. They helped me off the field, watching film. They helped me as a person. And I credit a lot of my development to them for this past year. So I'm very, very thankful for them, and I'm happy that Coach Stone is here with me.
All right, we'll stay there. Last one, Ira.
You obviously, Coach Norvell was a big part of your recruitment, but now it looks like you'll be working a little bit more hands-on with him.
Yeah.
Did you, during the process, did you study much about him besides just from Coach Malzahn, and what have you learned about like what he's done offensively in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, I've always watched Florida State. When I was in high school, I remember, working out in the weight room, watching him, come in the weight room, being like, wow, that's Mike Norvell. So I've always, known about him. I've always watched his offense. I think that he does a phenomenal job of putting playmakers in the right decision, or in the right situation, so they can, make the decisions that they do. I think he's done a great job with quarterbacks in his past, and I'm extremely excited to be able, to play in this offense. I think he's going to do really, really good things for us.
All right. Thank you, Ashton.
Thank you.